welcome to the Matthew Lyle Show. It's your host, Matthew Lyle. On today's episode, we're going to talk all kinds of sports. We're going all across the board. It's today, January 22nd. Spoiler alert, we record these the night before, so it's January 21st. I'm just not ready for the bright lights of live recording, so we record these the night before. So if we're a little outdated, we do apologize. That's why we try to come on pretty early in the morning. We try not to miss too much. I am riding solo today. If you've listened to the last couple of episodes, I have historically been joined by Michael Buckheister, but not today. So we're going to try to get through this by ourselves. I can't mess this up too bad, so we're just going to see what's going on. I've actually just been watching, and this is probably where Mike is at, because if you don't know, Mike is a big K-State fan. Been watching this Kansas State debacle, the brawl in Lawrence. I don't know. I thought there was something there, but there's not. I don't know what happened. I have no details. I have no information. Just saw guys in white Kansas uniforms and guys in purple K-State uniforms or whatever they were wearing throwing fists. Some good old fisticuffs. So I don't know what happened. I don't care. Look, I don't care about the impact that you're going to say that they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't fight, they shouldn't be brawling. It's a bad look. Look, for amateurs, I don't care about none of that. If I'm a Kansas State fan, if I'm a K-State fan, I care about the impact it's going to have on March. I care about, because we're essentially in February, and I would imagine any disciplinary action that gets handed out will run into February if they're able to even come back. I don't know. I don't even know what the precedence of. We don't see this a whole lot in college basketball, especially a team brawl, a bench clearing brawl such as this. So I'd be very interested to see who was involved and what's the impact. Because so if you're a Kansas fan, and I've definitely haven't seen Kansas State. I've only watched Kansas once. It was opening night versus Duke. And I don't really know many of their players other than Azubuike. So I don't think he was involved. I mean, he's a huge man. I don't think you can miss him. I don't think he was involved, but apparently, I mean, if you're a Kansas fan, you got to be nervous no matter what, because at least, even if you don't lose somebody who's super important, it at least looked like there was 3 or 4 guys involved. And I don't care if it's your worst 3 or 4 guys, that's depth. And we're in conference play. You got Tennessee coming to town for the SEC Big 12 showdown. That's depth. You just lost depth. So you got to be nervous. I don't know. I hope to find out more. I heard it was about a dunk. The guy looked down on him. You got to let stuff like that go, man. I don't know who dunked who or blocked. Maybe it was a block. That's what it was. You just got to let that stuff go. I don't care. You can't care about that. There's bigger things. If you lost, if you're the person who started the fight and you're the guy that lost, you got to move on to the next game. You lost that game. And if you won, you just got a conference win, and now you're hurting your team. So I think that was a bad look all around. Like I said, have no clue who's involved. I have no clue what's going to come out of this. But just seeing it there. On tonight's show, like I said, we're going to talk all the sports. We're going to. This is a great time. We're in a really great time to be a sports fan. But at the same time, it's kind of a lull. It's kind of the quiet before the storm. I mean, we did just wrap up college football, so you got the draft coming, Super Bowl's coming, NBA has started. The saying, the NBA doesn't start till Christmas Day. We are here. NBA is rolling. College basketball's heating up. But at the same time, we're still quite a ways from the draft. We still have almost 2 full weeks to the Super Bowl. Even though NBA and college basketball are heating up, there's still a lot of things that can change. So if you're not excited about what you're doing, you got time to change. And if you are excited about what your team's doing, you got time to be disappointed. So it's still just, it's not quite ready time to just be balls to the wall, crazy about my team quite yet. I mean, you can be crazy about your team because you're a fan of it. But as far as the overall look of the sports world goes, very exciting time, but also nothing major. I can have about 20 different small topics, not one major topic. For those who may be new to the show, I want to put this disclaimer out. I'm not ESPN in quality, in skill set, or in topics. I'm not the type of person. I'm not going to talk about LeBron James on every show. I'm not going to talk about whatever they talk about on every show. They typically have, they even in the off season they'll follow certain players. If a situation's going on and LeBron James needs to be talked about, I like LeBron James. I'll talk about LeBron James. But I'm not going to break down everything he does ever. I'm not going to talk about what will he do in 18 months when this contract expires. I don't even know what this contract situation looks like. That's not me. I'm going to talk about... I'm not going to make stories out of things that are just good clicks because I'm not interested in them. I myself don't watch much. I do like some of the other talk show hosts or sports talk show guys who expand a little bit. But I'm going to talk about what I'm interested in. This is the Matthew Lyle Show. This is my show. And look, if this is a raging success, awesome. I'm excited, and this is a dream come true. If it's not, if it burns down in flames, well, guess what? It went down the way I wanted it to. So, got a little off subject there, but I'm not going to find, you turn on ESPN and they're finding 15 different ways to talk about the same thing. That's not going to be me. I'll talk reckless about something that no one else knows about before I say, hey, what's LeBron James going to do in 2024? Or what is LeBron James and his son ever going to play together? That might be a topic, but this isn't going to be a reoccurring theme. Speaking of talk about things I don't really want to talk about, I am going to address it, and something that you will not hear us talk about much on the show, and that's baseball. Not a baseball fan. Not at all. Boring. And before anybody comes at me and says, oh, you don't understand it. No, I understand baseball. I understand the strategy of it. I've played baseball. I've watched baseball. I understand what you want to do. I understand what the other team's trying to do. I understand there's different ways to do it, and there's pitching, and there's rotation, and there's shifting, and there's all this stuff. Boring. I get it. It's strategy. There's a lot of strategy. Doesn't mean it's fun to watch. I don't like watching the History Channel. I don't like documentaries. I don't like war documentaries where they talk about strategy that they had. Not interesting. I'm a huge football guy. I'm a huge offensive. I like my sports to have tons of offense. I don't like run plays. I get why you run the ball. I get the point of a 2-yard run to set up other runs and set up play action. Still boring to watch. I don't like soccer. I don't like a bunch of running around for nothing. I like scoring. I say all that because I wanted to address one thing I really don't care about, but I'm going to address, like I said, I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it, but I'm going to address it. The cheating scandal. The thing that everybody's upset about the Astros and whoever else may or may not be involved. I don't care. I don't care. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I don't get it. Baseball does take itself very serious, and they do have these nuances of cheating and breaking the rules, beating on a trash can, but I don't care. I'm not upset about it. I'm not offended by it. I would be upset if my favorite team cheated. I don't care. I don't care if I lose to a team that's cheating because the game happens on the field, on the diamond, on the court, wherever you're playing this or wherever you're playing a sport. I say all this also to say I would watch baseball. You would actually have my interest if we could switch that up a little bit. If the things you're whining about, the things you're crying about, the things that you're upset about, if those are the thing, those certain things, if those things become legal, now we got us a sport. If you told me every player took PEDs, I'm watching. If you told me every player bet on their games, and they bet a sizable amount, like I'm talking huge, if they bet this week, they should have to, you know how in street racing they race for slips? They should have to play for salaries, and they should bet their salary. And based on what they do, that's how much they win or lose. I don't care. I don't bet on it. Don't bother me any. Steal signs. Get creative with it. Make people write things. Make them change it up. I want to look over on a baseball dugout, and I want it to look like a college football sideline with those absurd pictures of Daffy Duck and Batman and Chick-fil-A and all the other crazy pictures they throw on there. I don't care. I want offense. If you want to make baseball interesting to me, get rid of the pitcher. I don't want to watch two dudes play pitch and catch. I don't want to watch that. And with some guy in between them just trying to interfere, swinging the bat as hard as he can. I want to watch you get rid of the pitcher, put a pitching machine on the mound, invent a pitching machine that'll throw like 200 mile an hour, and just let them crank it out. That's what I want to say. I want high school basketball games to break out. I want 34-30 type games. Look, none of that's going to happen, I know. And if look, and I'm also the type, if you like baseball, I'm not saying anything against you. Enjoy the crap out of baseball. Watch all 162 games. Watch every one of them. Getting the Major League Pass or whatever they're called. Enjoy. I'm just saying I don't. And I don't be like, oh, you don't understand. The lack of me enjoying very little has anything to do with my understanding. As far as what you do with the Astros, I don't know. Whatever you want, I guess. I don't think you should do anything. What I do not think you should do is vacate the title. And this has nothing to do with, it hurts the fan. I could care less. You didn't win the title. You don't have a championship ring laying around. It's that you can't take it away. We watched it. Yes, even I watched the World Series a little bit. I saw them hold up that trophy with all the flags on it. Even I seen that. You're not going to erase my memory. Somebody's not going to be like, hey, who won the 2017 World Series? I don't remember. It was the Dodgers and somebody. And it's not going to happen. I saw it. You saw it. They were there. And the most important thing, let's be honest, the most important thing to winning a championship is the emotion you feel during that run. It's the games leading up to it, no matter what the sport is, no matter what the league is. It's the games leading up to it, followed by your favorite player, somebody in your favorite team's uniform, hoisting this trophy. You see it all paying off. You enjoy. You just fall back on the couch, and or maybe you're outside screaming, and you just say, we did it. And then you avoid social media because, and this is another part to why I don't care about asterisks. I'm a Patriots fan. And everybody says, oh, you don't have any Super Bowls without asterisks next to them. Don't care. Don't care. Because every championship has an asterisk next to it. If you let social media, if you let the haters, if you let people who aren't fans tell it, every championship have an asterisk. Warriors beat the Cavs, 2015? Maybe, was it 14? 15. Asterisk. LeBron and Kyrie was hurt, or Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt. Warriors win the title again. Asterisk. Well, they got KD super team cheated, blah, blah, blah. Raptors, Kawhi Leonard. I thought everybody loved Kawhi Leonard. Title, asterisk. Well, the Warriors were injured. No matter what, haters and social media and somebody's going to try to tear down that achievement. Don't let them affect it. So whether you put a real asterisk, a la U of L, a la, I guess, Memphis in the Final Four, Reggie Bush with USC, either you put a real asterisk there and we still don't care. It still happened. Or the fans are going to, the people, sports people are going to put a fake asterisk next to it. And you're still going to have to defend your team. So, don't matter. Do whatever it takes to win. Let me enjoy it. Don't care. All right, it's time for our first break on the Matthew Lyle Show. When we get back, we're going to dive in probably some NBA, a little NFL talk. But it's your host, Matthew Lyle. Stay tuned. And we're back to the Matthew Lyle Show. Your host, Matthew Lyle, riding solo. No Michael Buckheister on today's show. We spent the first half talking about how little we care, or the first segment talking about how little we care about baseball. Once again, don't come at me with talking about how you enjoy baseball. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy what you enjoy. Just don't expect me to enjoy. Because I don't. We're going to move a little bit to the NFL. We're not going to talk Super Bowl talk. We still got 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and this is going to brew. And I don't know how many headlines are going to come from this. I mean, there's no Patriots, there's no Lamar Jackson, there is Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have the conversation about Andy Reid being able to get it done, but for the most part, I don't know how many storylines are going to come out so far. I don't know about. I mean, you could have, I guess, the D Ford versus Kansas City after, a lot of people say he cost Kansas City last year versus New England. That's neither here nor there. I don't think that's a very important topic, but it might be as time goes on. So we'll see. We're going to dive into what the 2019 NFL season held. For the most part, as a Patriots fan, it was 18 weeks if you count the playoffs. It was 18 weeks of denial, and not an obvious denial. It was, we came out the gate hot, started, I want to say 7-0. I can't quite recall. Started 7-0. A lot of people said, good defense, great defense. A lot of other people said, hey, you haven't played anybody. Maybe I was a little denial about, Belichick typically struggles against the games. He typically struggles in the games when he's not playing anybody. When he is playing the Baltimore Ravens, when he is playing the Kansas City Chiefs, when he is playing whatever team is at the top of their game now, he typically does really well and prepares really well. And you got Tom Brady, you got Josh McDaniels. So I was probably a little in denial that was going to translate to less success. If we're starting 17-0 and beating, going down to Miami and getting a win, or we're beating Pittsburgh, who's trying to find their way, I was okay with that. Then we lose to Lamar, we lose to the Ravens, and I start saying denial number 2 doesn't matter. Lose to the Chiefs, or actually I think the Texans was next, and the Chiefs, denials 3 still didn't matter. And really, I carried that denial all the way up until we lost to the Dolphins, week 17, which meant we now had to be the 3 seed. I was okay with being the 2 seed. We were the 2 seed the year before. Got it done. Because I felt like we competed fairly decent. We just made some bad plays at Baltimore. Felt like for the most part, I felt we could do it again. If we went in there and was able to contain Lamar, I think we was able to get things straight. So I was okay with the 2 seed. It means Kansas City had to come back to New England. I was okay with all that. But once we became that 3 seed, it became an extra game. It became all this extra stuff. I felt like you could just feel it in the air. I was denial number 4 that we was actually going to lose to Tennessee. Thought we'd be fine, but we wasn't. We lost. Am I going to blame anyone? No, because I don't think this is the type of team. Everybody likes to get in these debates. Oh, is Brady better than Belichick? Is it Belichick? Is it the system? Is it is it the receivers? Is it McDaniels? Is it this? Is it the defense? It's everything. Because in football, especially, it's a team. And I'm not. This isn't some team. Teamwork makes the dream work. But it's almost like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was like an old married couple. They knew each other. They said, gonna do this, you're gonna do that, we're gonna make this work. Tom Brady said, you know what, I don't want you to spend a whole lot of money on that offensive line. I know we don't have the best offensive lineman. We're typically not going to re-sign every guy who works out for us as an offensive lineman. So now give me somebody who can catch something short. Give me running backs that can catch. Don't give me just one stud running back. Don't give me just one elite receiver. Give me several. We'll make this work. And it worked. Then we took a chance on Josh Gordon. Then we took a chance on Antonio Brown. And at that moment, that was probably the height of my hype. Because if you remember, by week 2 when he signed, there was a lot of belief Gronk was going to come back. So I was like, oh, this could be something special. AB didn't work out. Josh Gordon didn't work out. Gronk didn't come back. So then it becomes, now those receivers aren't as good. And I'm not going to blame it all on the receivers because, Brady made some bad passes. But historically it's been, I've always said Tom Brady's greatest asset was self-awareness. That he knew he was getting older. He knew he wasn't the fastest. He knew he didn't have the greatest arm. So he didn't do anything unnecessary to try to flex, to try to prove that he had something that he didn't. Tom Brady said, hey, this is who I am. This is what we're going to do. Short passes, solid receivers, going to catch the ball, make something shifty happen. First down, score, especially there the last couple of years. Take 6 minutes to score. Play bend, don't break defense. Now I'm going to take another 6 minutes to score. Now spend half the game, you're down 2 touchdowns. That didn't happen this year. Can it happen next year? I don't know. We'll see. So that's my own personal feeling on that. Tom Brady, a Patriots fan, got my own personal feelings on that. That's where that came from. If I look around, so let's recap. We're going to just dive real quickly into each conference and division. Looking at start with the AFC East, talked about the Patriots. The Bills was a shock. I think it was more come down to earth the way they played in that playoff games, but overall the Bills were a shock to me to show that they started so strong and played so consistently, and it didn't really bother me how much we struggled as the Patriots struggled against them, because that's how it typically works. I didn't watch the Jets as much, 7-9. Dolphins, I thought they were taken for Tua, but I felt like at one point they were like, you know what, we're going to try to make something happen this season. Finished strong. Chiefs started ugly. Here they are in the Super Bowl, 12-4. I mean, that division, I guess if you look at that division, AFC West, Chargers kind of let me down. Off a playoff contender was competing for that division, kind of a letdown. The shock of the season. And look, I've caught some flack about words I said about Lamar. I like Lamar. He's exciting, even though he went to the college that I hate and he plays on my least favorite NFL team. I like what I've seen. I was not expecting that from him this season. Was I expecting him to improve? Yes. Was I expecting him to lead them to 14-2, lead the league in passing, win the MVP, which I imagine he will, and spoiler alert, he would be my MVP. Did I imagine it? Did I imagine any of that coming in the season? No. Surprise of the season. Got to give props to the Steelers. They were a laughingstock early. Ben went out. Bell was gone. Brown was gone. 8-8. Can't hate on that. The Browns probably the biggest disappointment. Hate to just kind of put all the eggs there in that one division. But I, as a guy who loves offense, don't really have any loyalty to one team other than supporting the Patriots and wanting them to win. As a guy who loves offense, I was a little disappointed. I was excited. Baker Mayfield coming up, building off that year. They had a slew of running backs. They picked up Kareem Hunt. They had Landry. They had Beckham. And in preseason, if I'm not mistaken, it was that first preseason game. They drove down the field, no problem. Looked amazing. Never really captured that again. Bengals did Bengals things. I was a little surprised Texans won the division. I like what Deshaun Watson. I like those receiving corps. I don't think you fire Bill O'Brien, but it's not my decision to make. Titans, obviously a big shock. Colts, I ended what I thought they would once Luck retired, and I don't know if you ever truly can buy into the Jaguars. Hopping over to the NFC, just some quick thoughts on what occurred throughout the season. Eagles winning the division at 9-7. The fact that I don't know, they face so many health concerns or injury concerns. Carson Wentz, I don't know what you do with that. Cowboys 8-8. That's just their thing. They're the Dallas 8-8ers. They should change their name to the Dallas 8-8ers. I don't care what you have. I think they could put me at quarterback, your next door neighbor at running back, and some homeless dude at receiver. And guess what? They'd probably Jerry Jones would find a way to make that team go 8-8. But you give them a guy like Dak Prescott, you give them Zeke Elliott, you give them Amari Cooper, they're still going to find a way to go 8-8. Giants, man, I fought hard for Daniel Jones coming into the season. A lot of people said that I was being a hater against Haskins. I don't trust quarterbacks who come from elite systems. Just typically don't. Daniel Jones played for Duke, struggled, thought it was going to be something special. Had signs, didn't really come up at 4-12. Redskins, speaking of Haskins, I guess I was surprised. I feel like they have 7-9 written all over them, 3-13. 49ers. I was saying, hey, guys, watch out. I told a lot of people, watch out. Jimmy G's back. They start gelling a little bit. Kind of what the, I hate to say it, kind of what the Dolphins did this year. I feel like they had some games where they found themselves. Drafted the Bosa kid. Now they're in the Super Bowl, 13-3. Definitely not as surprised by the success, but probably the biggest surprise in the NFC by them going to the Super Bowl. Seahawks 11-5. Russell Wilson, great quarterback, wills them, gets it done. Just couldn't get it done versus the Packers. Rams probably the biggest disappointment in the NFC. I like Jared Goff. I think he's a good quarterback. I think there's a lot of offensive, high-powered weapons there. But I thought it was Sean McVay. I thought Sean McVay was the strings behind the puppets, or however you would word that. He was the puppeteer. See him go 9-7, a little disappointed. 5-10-1 for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, I'm rooting for him. Hey, you chase the dream. You went against the grind. Everybody said go play baseball. You're too short. Yada yada yada. You try to sculpt out an NFL career. You're still trying. I'm excited I'm excited to see him keep developing. Sorry about that, guys. NFC Packers 13-3. That kind of surprised me too, I guess. I was ready to call. I don't think it's a huge surprise, but if in an honest moment, I had some concerns about Rodgers. 13-3. Just really couldn't do anything versus the 49ers. Vikings kind of surprised me. Kirk Cousins 10-6. Bears 8-8. Kind of felt like that's what happened. The way they lost in the playoffs just kind of felt like they were destined to just kind of nestle back into 8-8. And I don't know what you're going to get next year. Sorry, Bears fan. I could easily see them going 6-10, and I have no clue what that roster is going to look like next year. Lions 3-12. 3-12-1. I'm sorry. I was going to say that makes sense. I don't know what to expect ever of the Lions. Never get your hopes up. I like Matt Stafford. I wish they would get more out of that. It just doesn't appear like it's going to be anything. Saints, Drew Brees, I don't know. I feel like they sold their soul. They did some voodoo. They did something to win the Super Bowl a couple years ago with Bountygate. Maybe it's karma. Maybe it's just bad luck. I don't know. 13-3, losing the wild card. Falcons 7-9. Buccaneers 7-9. Does Jameis Winston throw the most catchable pass? I love Jameis Winston. And I just think he's interesting because he could give us low-key, boring Brett Favre. Tons of touchdowns. I'm hoping next year 50-50. 50 touchdowns, 50 interceptions, and I hope they go 8-8. Panthers 5-11, ended up firing somebody. I don't know what happened. I didn't really keep up with the Panthers a lot. As you may find out as this show continues, I have ADHD really bad. My attention span's horrible. So and then on Sundays, I sit down, a nice cold one, some hot wings, some pizza. I pull up my DraftKings, throw a lot of money on the line, pull up my fantasy football team. I'm in like 8 leagues. And I put on Red Zone. And that's how I watch the game. I don't care. I don't care if the Patriots are playing unless I'll peep that score. But I love the Red Zone. And I say all that to say, I don't know if I'm surprised or not surprised. Not even coming in with the expectations. Just as I said here today, that the Panthers are 5-11. Because I felt like there was a month span where Kyle Allen was the future. And then I feel like, it didn't pan out to anything. Because I could have swore he won like 6 games, which doesn't even make sense because they only won 5. So clearly I'm wrong. So I don't know what really to expect out of that. But like I said, surprises of the season, the biggest surprise has to be Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Never would have expected all that. Never would have expected him to be that good. I thought he could be good. I thought he could be good-ish. I didn't think he was going to be as bad as the playoffs last year was going to look, but I didn't think he was going to be MVP. And look, I dogged him. I said I don't think he can win the big game. We can continue to have that discussion another day, but the man has a second year like you've never seen. Did this at Louisville, came in as a freshman, struggled, got benched a couple times, coach couldn't find out what his rhythm was, comes back, second year, wins the Heisman. Comes in as a rookie. Harbaugh doesn't really know what he's going to do with him, doesn't really know what route to take with him. Comes back second year, should win MVP. Surely he'll win MVP. Yeah, that's still the biggest surprise. Biggest disappointment, hate to keep it in the same conference, hate to keep it in the same division, has to be the Browns. Has to be the Cleveland Browns. Had so much excitement for that to be something, to be... I didn't expect them to win a Super Bowl. I wasn't on that. I didn't know if they'd win the division. But I thought we would see some ridiculous numbers. Thought we would see some Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, crazy numbers, throw 5,000 yards, maybe only wins 9 games, but still puts up the yardage, and it never really translated. So maybe next year, I don't know. They got Freddie Kitchens out there. Don't know if that was the answer. I don't think his answer was... That was the answer for him to be hired to begin with, so I don't know how firing him will be the answer. But we'll see. We're going to segue on into the NBA. Like I said, we're just bouncing around college sports. We're just bouncing around sports right now. Everything's going on, but not enough of anything's going on to really just be the star of the show. NBA. Tonight, Zion returns. Speaking of guys, I was surprised. Look, even when Zion, a Kentucky fan, even when Zion was spectated to come to Kentucky, I still wasn't sold on him. Thought he was a chubby kid who could just jump high and who picked on smaller kids. Not actually bullied them, but like on the court, took advantage of being on 6'1" guys who weighed 125 pounds, couldn't do anything, and he picked on that. So when he comes to Duke, I thought, not going to translate. He's too little to do this, too big to do that, can't shoot, won't translate. We've seen jumpers go before. And I thought he was great at Duke. As a Kentucky fan, I felt he was the missing piece. As a Kentucky fan, we had some great pieces last year. You put Zion Williams as that 5th starter in the lineup with who did we have last year? Higgins, Hero, Johnson, Washington. You make that Zion Williamson, that's a national championship. Didn't have him. He goes to Duke. Still doesn't get it done. He runs into some issues in the Elite Eight. I just didn't think the team really relied on him down the stretch. So here he goes. Finally gets drafted by the Pelicans. And we just really good. I remember he had one game. I think I only got to see him once in the preseason. Impressed. But here we are. Halfway through the season, quite yet? Maybe, I don't know. We might be halfway through the season. He finally shows up. I don't know what to expect. Apparently, they've been teaching him how to re-walk. They've been trying to teach him how to do basic things. That seems dangerous. Not really to his health, but just to his basketball career, because teaching him how to walk, teaching him how to run. I don't know what we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get much first game of the season. Don't expect too much. First game of the season, mid-game. Not only, you get those rookies who kind of struggle early in the season, but then they kind of get to develop. Well, now imagine that, but everyone else is in a groove. Everyone else has found their rhythm. Every other team kind of finds their rotation. So now he has to come and be something. I think he's going to make a couple of good plays, a couple of exciting plays, be something that's on SportsCenter, something getting buzzing on Twitter. But I just don't think we're going to get to see that Zion yet. And maybe we won't this season. And I'm ready for all the hot takes to burn up social media and call him a bust already. Just take some time. And don't even get me started on that rant. I'll save this rant for another day. But why are we so quick with the B word? And I'm talking bust. Why are we so quick to throw that bust out there? Some people take longer to develop than others. Some people take longer to hit their stride than others. Especially when you're battling little injuries. People forget, just I guess because Steph looks like he's 19. He was in the league 7 years, I want to say, before he won his first title. And you forget he was injury prone, and he still might be. Some might consider him that. But he had world of ankle problems. Ankle problem. Goes on and wins 3 rings. So, I don't know. We'll see. Zion, I'm happy for the kid. Ready to see him develop. Ready to see what he can be. I hope he develops a shot. I think that'll make his game so much better. But we'll see. I don't. Like I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, my expectations for this year is probably a 3. I am not, and I could be wrong. He could come out and he could be averaging 30 points and 10 rebounds. I just don't expect it. He's not got to really play. He's fighting this injury. Everybody else is developed, or everybody else is in a rotation. I don't know how much expectations you have for the Pelicans anyway at this point. So it'll be fun to watch. I'll definitely be tuned in. Like I said, not sure how much to expect. So looking around the NBA, not going to dive into every team because the NBA doesn't really lend itself to caring about every team. The NFL, you care about every team. Either you're laughing at them or you still find a way to care about them. And maybe it's because they only play once a week and you have the rest of the week to kind of chew on it. And then there's Monday night and Thursday night football that allows you to, and Sunday night football that allows you to have those two teams to have the national stage that the NBA just typically doesn't do. You know, typically the NBA could give you the Hornets and Cavaliers on Tuesday, and then Wednesday night we're talking Rockets Lakers. And then the next night you got Nets Magic. So the NBA, I don't think they really want you to talk about all the teams because there's probably some bad teams. There is some bad teams in there. So I look at the East, Bucks, 39-6. And I say this, I'm recording this on the 121. I'm recording this on Tuesday night. It'll be released on Wednesday morning. If they're playing right now and they're winning or losing, I don't want to hear it. 39-6, that's impressive. Giannis, I don't know if he's going to stay there. I don't know what his plans are. Got that team rolling. Is it their year to win? Do they need to win for him to return? That'll be something I'll watch to develop. I'll talk about that a little bit as it develops. I'm not going to talk about it on every show. Miami Heat, big Tyler Hero fan. Of course, coming from Kentucky, seeing them sit there in that second seed. Then I look, Raptors, Celtics, Sixers. Those all kind of feel the same to me. I feel like Brad Stevens has the type of team that he could make a run on where he has quote-unquote stars, but no elite star. And I feel like he's done his best work when he doesn't have elite stars. No Kyrie Irving, nothing like that. Jason Tatum just kind of developed that. Guys getting Jaylen Brown dunking on LeBron like crazy. I look at those three teams there. They all kind of feel the same to me. Raptors, once again, no superstar. Sixers, they got the stars, but I feel like they're flawed. I feel like that's not something that's going to get a title. I feel like they need to move one of those pieces to somewhere else. Pacers, I guess I should include them because they're all there between that 14 and 16. I probably should really include 2 through 6. They're all one game of like 13 and 16 losses. Pacers, they don't feel like they have a star. Depot, I don't know how he's playing. It's tough to keep up with all these, but they just have a feel. 3 through 5 feels, 6, and then everything below it just feels like they don't stand a chance. And maybe that's a product of the best of 7. Maybe that's the downside of the best of 7 is you can't get excited for an upset. Might be more interesting. Never going to happen, but might be more interesting if you had first round was best of 1, second round best of 3, third round best of 5, and then the finals was best of 7. Seems like it could be a little more fun, but I don't know. That's never going to happen. I don't have all the answers. Look around. Hawks dragging at the bottom. Be very interested to see what Trae Young does. I feel like he's just the younger James Harden on a worse team. So he's going to put up absurd numbers. Whether or not he rides it out there, that's where I enjoy watching the NBA, and I enjoy trying to see what the future of contracts do and how these I guess super teams or how contract negotiate not really contract but the CBAs on what they can do to keep teams, because that has get out of there written all over. I don't know when. I don't know what help they can get him. There's a lot of talk that they might like to go after the Georgia kid, Anthony Edwards, put him in the backfield. Still seems like it wouldn't be enough. Hopping over to the Western Conference. We got the Lakers in the first seed. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron won. Wouldn't shock me by any means, I guess. But I still kind of feel like I don't trust them both LeBron and Davis stay healthy all the way through, especially if the finals get grueling. Especially if they have to make a couple of game 6s and a game 7. Just have trouble trusting them. And then it's kind of a turning of the tides with the Nuggets and Jazz. Are those teams we can trust? Are we ready to see the Nuggets or the Jazz making it to the finals like it's 96, 90, or 97, 98 seasons. I just feel like I can't trust that. I got the Clippers. It's taken me 3 years to actually say, okay, I can envision the Clippers in the finals. Last year, the Raptors caught me off guard. Just seeing them in the finals just didn't look right. Is that this year's Denver Nuggets? That this year's Utah Jazz? Haven't really had a chance to watch that much. College basketball piping up, NFL rolling. Once the Super Bowl's over, once we get to the All-Star game, that's when I'll sit down and really start to sink in and watch some of these NBA games. Really start to see who some teams have. I look through. I'm disappointed in the Suns. They just kind of spitballing from what I see in these rankings or in these standings. Disappointed in the Suns. I don't know what they have, but I feel like they've had enough pieces. I want them to see something. I want them to be something. I like Devin Booker. I'm a Devin Booker fan, just of him and the way he plays. Another Kentucky kid. Ayton, I just feel like 18 and 25 on what's his 4th season. Should be seeing something. Look for him to get out. I know he did sign a deal, and that's kind of the trend too. It's kind of the trend we've been seeing. You come in as a rookie. You get to grow and lose and suck on TV and nobody really even notices. Then you get all your money on a max deal. And then that next contract you bounce and try to form a super team and try to get a ring that way. And then in the 15th spot of the West, you have my Golden State Warriors. And I like what we're doing. And that's losing and losing blatantly. Steph Curry breaks his hand, shut him down for the whole season. Klay Thompson could have returned around January, February. Nope, whole season. Let's see what D'Angelo Russell can do. Get his stock up. Let's see if he get that first round pick. Get that number 1 overall. Because I think we'd go for James Wiseman. Get James Wiseman. Now, you got James Wiseman. What I would like to see, and I don't know what it would take, get James Wiseman. Find a way to get Tyler Hero out of Miami. I think it's no secret he's going to be a star. And I think you could have Steph Curry, Tyler Hero, Klay Thompson playing 1, 2, 3. Maybe you get rid of Draymond somehow to make this happen. And then you have James Wiseman, or you find a way to get Karl Anthony Towns. That's your lineup. That becomes your lineup. There we are. Dynasty back on. That'd be so fun to watch because you'd have an older Steph, you'd have an older Klay. Their styles, as long as they can stay healthy, lends itself to being older, shooting up threes, going crazy. Then putting in Tyler Hero to develop and continue his growth because it would. He could continue to fit that shot. He could play like a young. Look, I'm not making the comparison, but he could play the young Kevin Durant role where he took those shots. The same thing we've seen Harrison Barnes do prior to Kevin Durant. And then you got young James Wiseman. Maybe go Karl Anthony Towns, but I'm trying to stagger this and have all the youth. And then you got some guys that are getting some legitimate minutes this season. Getting to develop, getting to find a role. Maybe the Pascal kid comes in. He finishes out your starting lineup. Got some kids off the bench. I'm excited about that. But don't mess this up. I say that. I don't know if they're going to try to go after any big names. I know I hear talk they're going after Giannis. I personally, if he doesn't come to Golden State, which I don't think that's going to happen, I like to see him go to Miami. Let him go to Miami. And I say that. The only reason I say Miami is because there's a lot of talk. It's getting some traction, him going to Miami. And a lot of times when you see teams go for broke and get these guys to build these super teams, they have to let the young talent go. Look at the young talent that, like the Lakers have to let go to build that. Look at the young talent that the Warriors had to let go to bring in Kevin Durant. Bring in Giannis. Maybe you let Tyler Hero go for the cheap, and that's how the Warriors get him. I'm here for that. All right, that's been the NFL talk. That's been some NBA talk. We're going to take our last break. When we get back, we're going to wrap up the show. This is it for the Matthew Lyle Show. And we're back to our final segment of the Matthew Lyle Show. Your host, Matthew Lyle. We're here on January 22nd. Segment 1, we talked a little baseball. Yes, spoiler alert, we did. Segment 2, talked everything else. This is the closing segment. It's all downhill from here. We're going to touch on college basketball. We started watching a little bit of video and looking at some pictures of that fight from Kansas and Kansas State. Just is crazy. I mean, look, I don't care about the punishment. I don't care about all that. It's a fight. It's kids doing what kids do, and there's going to be consequences. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be. Do whatever you want. Kick them out. I mean, they did fight. It happened. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not upset. It's probably the more entertaining game of the night. Saw Kentucky beat Georgia, looking like two of the better guards in the country, and maybe two of the top 5 guards two of the top 5 picks in the draft coming up, Maxey and Edwards. I mean, Edwards reminds me of somebody that's going to have a better career in the NBA than he ever did in college. And though I don't want to say Ben Simmons because I felt like Ben Simmons had a great college season. It just was kind of marred by LSU not being good. He then kind of, I don't want to say quit on his team, but he left the team before the season was over. Well, for all intent and purposes, the season was over. So I can't be mad at him. But anyway, I digress. Got me down a rabbit hole. I'm sorry on that one. I think Anthony Edwards is going to have a decent college career, not really blow anybody away. I could see Georgia making an NIT, him not playing, top 1 or 2 pick, depends on who gets it. I think if the Hawks get it, if the Hawks have a top 2 pick, I think they're going to take him. If the Warriors get the top pick, I could see them going a different way, shipping the pick out, or going James Wiseman. Looking around, we had the Kansas. I mean, Kansas looked good on the court when they were playing basketball. Big win, Kansas State. Villanova gave Butler its 3rd straight loss. Maryland got on the winning track. Texas Tech got upset by TCU. I mean, everybody keeps losing. So this is going to be a crazy one. As a Kentucky fan, I'm a little disappointed in the Texas Tech loss. Mainly because I didn't want Kentucky plays them Saturday in the Big 12 showdown, ACC or SEC Big 12 showdown thing, and I'm a little disappointed that now that we got a ticked off team. But hopefully, I mean, Kentucky's playing, I think, really good. I hate to say it, I feel like Duke bouncing back. I mean, it is a lowly Miami team, but I mean, you can't overlook anybody this year. So props to them getting back on the record. I've said it, and I hate to say this. I feel like this just feels like the type of year that Duke would win the title, that Coach K would go under the radar, no absurdly high picks. But then again, it also wouldn't shock me if they got beat by a 15 seed, even though I don't see that happen. I could see them being maybe a 3 seed and losing to a 14 seed, but that would take a couple more upsets. So I don't know. We'll look on that. Right now, college basketball, quiet before the storm. My top 5, I was looking at my top 5. I got Baylor number 1. I had them last week when a lot of people thought Gonzaga. I just think Baylor's got the best resume. 1 loss that doesn't look bad. I can't be mad at them for it. Gonzaga, you do have to go Gonzaga at 2. I mean, Gonzaga at 2 makes all the sense in the world. Kansas at 3. How long can they keep that up, though, depending on what comes out of this? I saw a picture of the player about to hit somebody with a chair. That picture is one thing. The reaction of everyone else, the reaction of the older people panicking, the people who feel involved with the team not knowing what to do, and then the young kids in the crowd just, one guy's laughing, one guy, he looks like he's maybe 18, 19, he's just laughing, which, I mean, that's what I would be doing. Oddly enough, I don't see anybody with their phones out. I felt like, I maybe have to look at the picture again. I feel like that'd be more. I maybe just want to get this for the gram, as they say. I guess somebody says, maybe. But anyway, Kansas at 3. San Diego State, undefeated. They do play Wyoming later. Got them at 4. I debated with Louisville. I feel like Louisville got a solid win, but I feel like they was flirting with disaster before the Duke game. So I have Florida State at 5, and because they did beat Louisville, and then to round out that top 6, I feel like that's about where I feel super comfortable. After that, I get a little shaky. Like, how good do I feel putting this team here? College football, like I said, we're kind of at a dead period. I'm working on my top 10 on that. I don't even know what the next year's team's going to look like, or the teams next year are going to look like. You never want to. The kid went from Houston to Miami. That kind of threw me for a loop. I was just sure he would go to Oklahoma. I don't know what Oklahoma has. I mean, they for 3 straight years they've lost their quarterback to the draft or graduating in Jalen Hurts' case. Which, on a side note, did you see his helmet? That was the coolest thing. Playing in the Senior Bowl. He had a great career at Alabama. Lost the job to Tua. Came in and kind of saved Tua's bacon there for a little bit in the SEC championship game last year before this one that just occurred. And then goes to Oklahoma, takes them to the playoff. He gets a burgundy helmet, which you would expect him to do. It looks like there might be a bit of shade difference. Not 100% sure. And then on one side is the 2, the basic lettering of the Alabama helmet, and on the other side is the OU. I thought it was really cool. Only thing I think would have made it any cooler is Oklahoma occasionally wears this white helmet. So if the other half had been white, if the one half had been that crimson, I guess they call it, with Alabama, and then the other side had been the white, I think that would have been really, really, I think it really popped. I mean, it's still a cool thing, cool gesture. I believe it does something with charity. Cool gesture either way. But anyway, college football, I'm surprised that the King kid from Houston didn't go to Oklahoma. That just feels like him. Feels like Lincoln Riley has that pulse on mobile quarterbacks, on coming in. Doesn't matter what scheme he did before. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and then boom, this King kid. But he goes to Miami, which I also feel like Miami's just got this whole cluster going on with quarterbacks. They got the Williams kid. I think they should have Tate Martell. Now they got this kid in the mix. That seems sloppy. But who knows? But that will be it. Like I said, I didn't really have much to end on doing the show solo today. Mike might be back with us tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah. So if anybody got anything that they would like to hear about or an opinion, shoot the inbox. The inbox has been pretty full with people kicking me while I'm not down. I mean, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, chasing the dream. But you got some haters out there, and I can deal with it. But that is it for the Matthew Lyle Show on June. I wish. January 22nd. Thanks for tuning in. I am out.